Today we're back in my 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor, and we are going to be doing a fuel economy test with the new Ford Performance Tune. This tune added 50 horsepower and 106 pound-feet of torque, giving this Ranger Raptor 455 horsepower and 536 pound-feet of torque. So pretty impressive numbers for a mid-sized truck. The tune costs about $850 from Ford Performance, though you can get it on some other websites for under $700. I paid the dealer about $250 to install it. So all said and done, for under $1,000, that's a pretty good horsepower per dollar gain ratio. Today's drive is mostly going to be highway. We are going to be doing some driving on 50, 60 mile an hour back roads. So it's a pretty good opportunity to see what type of fuel economy this Ranger Raptor is going to get, if it's going to be an improvement, if it's going to go down a little bit. We'll see. This is the first time I've gone on an extended drive with the tune in the Ranger Raptor. So we'll see how it does. I'm used to getting about 19 miles to the gallon on the highway at about 75 miles an hour. And around town, about 15 to 16 miles to the gallon. Let's go in and reset our trip. And our fuel economy here. So the biggest thing that I've noticed after spending a few days in this truck with the new tune is just the drivability is so much better. The shift programming, the shift smoothness is a huge improvement, and honestly that's kind of what I noticed the most. Okay, mid-range torque is amazing now, and outright power is pretty good too, but honestly there isn't a lot of space sometimes around town to get into the power that this puts out now. So I appreciate that the rest of the time when I'm not utilizing that 455 horsepower, I can kind of enjoy this truck for its added smoothness and refinement from the tune. Before tuning this truck, the 10-speed automatic performed pretty well. However, it was still a little bit rough sometimes, especially in sport mode. I've been driving this quite a bit in sport mode, and it's a lot smoother, a lot less rough to drive. The shifts are much smoother, and in normal mode, tends to hold gears a little bit better. So normal mode's kind of turned into this perfect all-around drive mode, even if you want to do a little bit of performance driving. I really like what the tune did to the character of the truck. It seems to have refined that shift logic a little bit better, and really, I think it makes a big improvement with drivability and everyday enjoyment for the Ranger Raptor. So you can see cruising at 75 miles an hour on a relatively flat area of highway. So far we're averaging 20 miles to the gallon. So it's only been a couple miles. Let's see how we do over a longer stretch. Today I'm actually on my way to go pick up a set of winter wheels for this Ranger Raptor. They are OEM 18-inch wheels off of a Bronco Outer Banks. And they're 18 by 7.5, 55 millimeter offset. So the exact same offset, bolt pattern, hub bore as the Ranger Raptor standard, just an inch narrower, which honestly for winter use is ideal because I do prefer a narrower winter tire. I'm going to be going with a 275/70 R18-inch tire. I'll probably be going with a Blizzak LT in that size. Seems to be kind of the best all-around option, though there is a Firestone that's a little bit less expensive that I may look at as well. So I kind of decided that because I don't have the BRZ anymore, that used to be kind of my dedicated winter car, I figured I probably owed it to myself, my family, and other drivers on the road to put winter tires on this, because I don't think these BFG KO3s are going to perform well in the ice and snow. I was also thinking about getting a set of Firestone Destination XT all-terrains, which are the best all-terrains I've ever tested in the winter, but I kind of like the ability to have a snow tire on a truck. And I think, you know, if we're going to be doing a little bit more adventuring in this, going up north this winter, doing some longer distance driving, it'll be nice to have a dedicated winter tire on this, and it should be pretty fun to drive as well. We're hitting a little bit of traffic here. You can see our fuel economy is at 22.7 mpg over the last 4.4 miles. That's dropping a little bit as we're coming down from speed. So maybe we will be getting some varied conditions in this fuel economy test. Already, that's a higher number than I'm used to, just cruising at 75 miles an hour on the highway. So maybe this tune does improve fuel economy a little bit if you can stay out of boost. We're also testing out one more thing in this video today, and it's the camera that I'm filming this video with. This is filmed with the new DJI Osmo Action 5, and I'm even using the in-camera audio to record the sound for this, so no in-ear binaural mics today. This is all from the Osmo, and this is kind of a pretty tricky scenario for the camera to see how well it excels in broad daylight. I usually use the DJI cameras because they have larger sensors for night videos, and I just haven't really found anything that works really well for night filming. It's just a tough environment, and I'm hoping this really changes the game. So we'll also be posting some night driving videos with this camera here soon. We have a new AMG GT63 this week, and that I think looked pretty cool at night, so maybe we'll post a video of that here soonish. But for now, I wanted to test this during the day, get an idea for what the sound quality is like straight out of the camera and what it's like in sunny, broad daylight conditions, which is usually pretty tricky. So far, I found that the GoPro Hero 12 is probably the best daytime camera, though when the light gets low, the picture gets really grainy and not that high quality, sharpness falls off. And so it's a pretty bad low light camera, and the DJIs seem to do a lot better in lower light with their bigger sensors. The Ford Performance Tune does require premium fuel, so 91 octane or higher. And one of the reasons why I decided to go for the Tune is I've been putting premium fuel in here anyway and haven't really been seeing that much of a performance gain between premium and 87. So I figured might as well just tune it and stick with 93 in this truck. If I get better performance, better drivability, better fuel economy, those are all bonuses. So I think the price of entry here is pretty low. The only major concern with this Tune is how dealers could potentially deal with warranty issues outside of that Ford Performance 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty. And honestly, I haven't heard of too many issues with these Tunes from Ford Performance. They seem to be pretty solid, and the Ranger seems to be a pretty solid platform as well. We'll do one pull. See that fuel economy number drop down to 20. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, time will tell with regards to reliability. For now, I think these trucks have been pretty solid. We've seen a few cam phaser failures pretty much on delivery under 1,000 miles with these trucks on forums. I don't like to make decisions with my vehicles based on what-if scenarios and, worst case worries. I like to just enjoy them in the moment. You never know how long you'll hold on to them. You'll never know what could happen to them. You only live once. Enjoy your car within your budget, your comfort level, and that's kind of the best advice I can give with regards to that. All right, I've already talked a lot in this video. We'll come back to you guys later on with some more miles under our belt and see how this does. I'm going to kind of aim for sitting at around 75 miles an hour on the highway in this truck and see how it does. Usually 70 miles an hour is much more efficient in this, but I tend to cruise at about this speed on a regular basis, and that seems to kind of be the flow of traffic on these highways too. So we'll stay there, and if you guys ever follow the Daily Motor or Car and Driver, their fuel economy tests are all done at 75 miles an hour. So we'll stay consistent with that in this video. All right, we are about to exit the highway here, sitting at a solid 19.8 mpg at around 75 miles an hour on the highway over the last 15 miles. So not too bad. We're just going to be driving normally on these back roads. Not going to do any full throttle pulls, not going to speed or anything. We're just going to kind of stay with the flow of traffic here. In normal mode, you can see it holding that gear, getting us up to speed. I like that this Ranger Raptor isn't so eager to upshift in normal mode. This is just a really nice calibration here for this gearbox. All right, sitting at about 55 miles an hour. Let's reset our short-term fuel economy and see what this does sitting at 55. How efficient can we get in the Ranger Raptor? we still got our Trip 1 enabled, and we're still sitting at around 20 miles to the gallon there. Depending on where you live, a lot of people sit at around this speed on their commutes, and they're going to get pretty good gas mileage right out of the box. It looks like we're at about 24 miles to the gallon right now over the last minute or so. I have heard some reports that this tune is more efficient than the stock tune. And I think as long as you're staying out of boost, that's probably true. It would make sense that a calibration optimized for premium fuel would be more efficient. 26 miles to the gallon. It's a higher number than I was expecting. Here in Michigan, all of our roads are pretty flat. We don't really have any hills to deal with. Just wind. We are traveling west right now, and the wind should be coming towards us, but it's a pretty calm day, and there doesn't really seem to be much wind out here. Still, we'll factor everything in going both ways. All right, getting down to about 25 miles to the gallon here on these 50-mile-an-hour back roads. That's still very impressive fuel economy for a 5,300-pound truck on all terrains. What are our tire pressures today? So front tires are at 41 psi, rears are at 40. Those are a little bit higher. Tire temps about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. I did go into, I bought a ForScan cable on the software, and I did add a couple and change a couple things in ForScan. First was I added these tire temperature little information displays in the tire pressure screen. That's pretty clever. I like that, especially for off-roading. And if you're in the dunes, it's a hot day, you're aired down to 10-15 psi, you want to keep an eye on your tire temperatures, keep those below 200 degrees Fahrenheit so that you don't have premature wear. And I like being able to see how much pressure fluctuates compared to temperature too. So neat little readout there. So our tire pressures are probably about average for placard on this Ranger Raptor right now, but I tend to run slightly lower pressures than this usually. I also went in and disabled a couple other things that help me slide this thing around with traction control off, like disabled trailer sway control. Don't tell anyone, but yeah, if I ever tow, I will just re-enable it, but does let you have a little bit more fun in this Ranger Raptor with an easy traction off button press. Overall fuel economy, 21 mpg and 25 mpg on the back roads. Nice. That is an improvement. I think ultimately, if you're still doing city driving, cold starts, shorter trips, you're still going to be averaging in the teens in something like this. But on a longer journey, when the vehicle's warmed up, when you're just steady state cruising, you're not doing a lot of stop and go, you might see better fuel range and better fuel economy with this tune. One of my favorite things about this Ranger Raptor is just the fact that it doesn't have 4-cylinder air conditioning. The air conditioning is so cold in this truck. It makes up for the fact that this does not have cooled seats in the summer. Light throttle here, holding revs a little bit higher. So right now we're at the closest following distance with adaptive cruise control. We're pretty close to this Toyota Tundra in front of us. We're only about a 1001 count between him. So I usually at lower speeds will bump this down to like the third following distance setting, and that feels pretty normal. All right, we're only 6 minutes away from our destination. We'll pick up these wheels and then hit you guys back on the way home, and we'll see what type of fuel economy we average here. We'll get a good average MPG on these back roads. These are lower speed. This is kind of the most efficient scenario you could be driving in at these speeds, minimal stop and go, and under 55 miles an hour for aerodynamics. So far, we're sitting at about 25 miles to the gallon on these back roads. That's pretty impressive. Overall, 21.4, but we'll see what we get on the way home, factoring in some highway. All right, so we're just wrapping up some of our back road driving, about to get back on the highway here. And on those 50-mile-an-hour back roads, we averaged 22 miles to the gallon. Overall trip fuel economy is sitting at 21.2. So pretty good gas mileage here on the Ranger Raptor on this trip. Haven't been hypermiling necessarily, but I've definitely been driving economically. All right, we'll go back up to 75 miles an hour here on the highway. And we're not doing a pump calculation today just because I've found in my experience driving this car and living with it over the last few months that the estimated fuel economy on the readout is within like a tenth of an mpg accurate to what I get at the pump. So this seems to be pretty spot on. We'll see what we end up with at the end of our trip. All right, we are nearing the end of our journey, about to get off the highway. In the last 61 miles, we've averaged 20.9 mpg, so almost 21 miles to the gallon. I was seeing about 21 on the highway at 75 miles an hour, which is a noticeable improvement. That's probably about a 2 mpg improvement over what I used to see on the stock tune. That's impressive fuel economy. I did one short pull, a little bit of city driving, a little bit of neighborhood driving, a little bit of back road driving, 50-55 miles an hour, and then some highway driving. And all said and done, the Ranger Raptor's getting over 20 miles to the gallon. And then one pull takes us down to 20.7 mpg for the trip. So yeah, you're gonna use more fuel in this if you're going wide open throttle a lot, but if you're just driving conservatively, you might see much better gas mileage with this Ford Performance tune. Cool. All right, guys, well, that's gonna be a wrap on this video. Pretty much only other thoughts I had while going on this drive are that I'm not a huge fan of these KO3s on the highway. I took them to Discount Tire a couple weeks ago just to check their balance and do a tire rotation. And they said they were balanced perfectly, but there's still just a lot of vibration with these tires on the highway. 70, 75 miles an hour, the whole truck is just kind of shaking. Not to the extent of like the wheels shaking, like there's a big imbalance, but it's just that these tires don't ride very smoothly. So honestly, this winter I might swap them out for something else. Maybe we'll test out the AT4W, see how that performs. Perhaps go to my favorite all-terrain, the Destination XT. Not really sure what I'm going to put on these braid wheels, but I'm kind of over these KO3s at this point, just down to comfort. As a highway tire, honestly, I'd rather be running mud terrains for how rough they ride. And maybe it's just these tires that I have on this truck, this specific tire, but I'm not in love with these KO3s. I feel like the KO2 rode a lot smoother and was a much more comfortable tire on the highway. All right, well anyway, those are my thoughts on this video. 21 mpg over the course of a trip. That's pretty darn good. That's gonna be it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.